Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
Morning, Bellows Falls, and welcome to the feed. It's Mike and Marty. We're sort of flying blind today. We have no feedback as to where we are and what we're doing, but hey.
We'll survive.
The blind leading the blind, that's how we normally work around here. It's September 30th, 2020, and today is National Women's Health and Fitness Day, Marty.
Awesome.
What are we going to do to celebrate?
25 jumping jacks.
All right. But first, let's do local events.
So actually this week I really struggled because the past 2 weeks I've dropped the ball and not really had a lot to report. So I really did some research and found there's actually some fun things happening.
Good.
So Greater Falls Regional Chamber of Commerce, as you may or may not know, is kind of struggling because businesses are struggling right now, and the Chamber of Commerce is all funded by businesses. So they're doing, and they've lost their major fundraiser.
Yeah, which was the
Flannel Festival, which we accidentally reported it was happening, but is not happening. But they are having a flannel fundraiser flash sale.
Neat.
Say that 10 times fast. That actually ends tomorrow. So you have the rest of the day today to get a Flannel Festival t-shirt for $25. The proceeds will go to help the Greater Falls Regional Chamber of Commerce with their funding. So if you go to Southern Vermont, Southern VT, Flannel Festival, itemorder.com, you can get a Flannel Festival t-shirt, a collectible Flannel Festival t-shirt.
Yeah, because it's like
one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
Since Mike was inquiring the other day about had I had any pumpkin spice coffee yet, I did a little research, and Rockingham Roasters, yeah, they've gone there. They're going to have
good.
Pumpkin spice coffee available, pre-ground. You can get it either online at rockinghamroasters.coffee, or you can go to Pete's Stand or Saxon's River Market.
Oh, Pete's Stand in Saxon's River Market. That's great.
And then just a shout out to, I know that the times right now have led to a lot of food insecurity for people. There is a Farmers to Families food box program. A lot of F's today.
Yeah.
Some days there are a lot of F's. Yes. Farmers to Families food box program is going to be available in the month of October. Reservations are required for distribution, and each family would receive one box or 30 pounds of fresh produce, dairy, and meat if you call 802-476-0316. You can reserve your spot, or go to humanresources.vermont.gov/food help for more information about that. But it seems like it's a program that not a lot of people know about. So it's the Farmers to Families Food Box Program.
Okay. Well, one of the things we're going to talk about today is the Sustainable Energy Outreach Network. And that's a group that works primarily out of southern Vermont, and they work on sustainable energy in highly efficient homes, and how people can either build highly efficient homes or retrofit existing homes to be highly efficient. And their spokesperson is Payne, and he's with us today. Hi, Guy. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Hello, Marty and Mike.
Guy has been with us for the last 2 years for this event. I think maybe even 3 years now. This is
our 5th year, so there's probably a good chance it's been going on that long.
Wow. Guy, can you tell us a little bit about what's happening and when it's happening?
Sure. What we have been doing for the past, and now this is our 5th year, is we've had an in-person visit during October to visit high-performance homes, where people traveled around basically Windham County, be able to talk to the designers or builders about the homes and the kinds of processes they've used, the products they've used, some of the technology. And when I say technology, basically I'm talking the mechanical systems, cold climate heat pumps, ventilator systems, and so forth. And so people have a chance to understand what is now current in the building practices. We can no longer look at what was done 15 years ago. given the climate change. And so our builders now, and through us, we do educational work and certification programs for builders, as well as with this Sustainable Home Tour, promote the kinds of high performance homes. And when I say high performance, we're talking about energy efficiency, durability, and that's sort of another word for water and vapor management. Because if you don't take care of that, you can compost things fairly quickly. Indoor air quality, aging in place, the right products. So people have an opportunity to begin seeing what is all involved with the new generation of building practices. So it's really what are the best practices now being visible in southern Vermont. And now with this year, given the pandemic, it's virtual. So we'll be on November 7th. So so there's no longer traveling around in gorgeous southern Vermont in the first part of October. So in November, you can just sit back from 10 o'clock to 11:30 and take a peek at 4 homes that we are showcasing. 2 of them are new. One of them is an addition. And one is what we call a deep energy retrofit, where they actually went down to the studs and moved the house. It's an 1880 house, 40 more feet off the main road.
Wow.
And there's some fascinating stories about what they found when they opened up the wall systems.
I can't. That is just an incredible story right there. That'd be worth the watch. Just the idea.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I guess that, I know that was a question Marty had asked the last time we did this show is, are people taking old houses, because there are so many old houses or existing homes in Vermont, and then upgrading them to a newer, more efficient, sustainable style?
Yeah, in truth, this is a deep energy retrofit, the one that, we're referencing earlier. Is probably a 2 to 3 year project, but in truth, probably for many folks in our area, sort of with our income level, some of these projects may take a couple of years. So I think it's important to remember you need to prioritize what are the main projects that people need to work on, from the basements to the attic, and then they can begin doing some of the other pieces over a span of time. Probably our biggest expert in the field is Peter Yost, who, I've mentioned Peter, and his own house in Brattleboro. It took 10 years to slowly work on the different projects around his house. So it's also an opportunity for people to learn step by step what they can do.
Yeah.
So being a new homeowner, yay, we just bought a house. And so how would one go about prioritizing? Is there some entity out there other than connecting with Efficiency Vermont, or that you would kind of have an assessment of knowing what the priorities are and knowing kind of a prioritizing and plan, and then you can have an approach?
Sure. The first thing to do, Marty, is to have an energy audit.
Okay.
And there are companies in the area that can do it. There's Farnham and Associates right in Putney. There's also the Heat Squad, which is part of Western Vermont, that also services, I'm blanking on the actual NeighborWorks of Western Vermont. They will come in and they'll do an energy audit for you. And in those audits, it's sort of like your physical. Mm-hmm. They do an overall check of the house itself, and they will help you prioritize what are the areas that need to be addressed first. And that's always the best place to begin.
Okay. Because I think otherwise, we know a lot of things that we should do to the house and we could do to the house, and it's kind of overwhelming sometimes, you know, to know where to begin. And so
Oh,
I
yeah.
think,
Oh, yeah.
and our goal is to make it as energy efficient as we can for, you know, many
Sure.
numerous obvious reasons.
One of the things that I don't think is that well understood, and I encourage you, Marty, to make sure about this. Vermont has an energy code. It's called it goes by Residential Building Energy Standards, RBES. And that has been in existence since 1990, 99, excuse me. And you need to make sure that any time work that is done within the house having to do with energy efficiency, that you have gotten a certificate of compliance from the contractor. And that has to be part of the electrical panel. It's also listed with the town clerk and the Public Service Commission, or whatever its new name is. I can't remember. But there are far too many contractors who don't abide by the RBES. And that will be a significant deterrent if down the road you sell the house. They're going to want to know if you claim certain things, but there's no evidence that that work has been done.
Oh, interesting.
You want to make sure you hire a contractor who has a track record of submitting the RBES, and certainly a contractor who continues with continuous learning. Sometimes something that looks quality in 5 years can decompose because they didn't take care of the details. So there's the code, the history of code compliance that your contractor needs to be aware of. And both NeighborWorks and Farnham, they're all very well aware of that.
Neat.
Is there somewhere a list of RBES certified contractors that you can, like, you know, sometimes you can find a list of contractors to reach out to, or you just have to look generally for contractors and ask them if they're RBES certified?
There's no such thing as an RBES certification.
Oh, okay.
That's simply, are you abiding by the code?
Oh, okay.
What you need to do in any of that work is saying, give me the references of the work you've done and tell me that that RBS has been submitted to the town clerk.
Okay.
Neat.
I can't stress this enough. The RBES is not the highest level of home efficiency. It is still high, but in one sense, it's the lowest level that you can do without compromising or being illegal.
Wow. So it's like the base level.
Base standard.
Yeah, it's the base
It
standard.
is the base level, but if we can get homes at that level, it would be huge.
Yeah.
But there are far too many people that say, oh, you don't need that. Man, if you hear that from a contractor, you let him out the door.
Good news. Yeah. So back to your event. Can you tell us
Sure.
how do you do a virtual tour of homes? So because that in itself sounds like a technical problem.
You're absolutely right. This is a new venture for us, and I think last year you had Teresa Spear on, who is excellent, and she's been our technical guru. So she was handling a lot of the work that is being developed. What we did is, over and above a live introduction to the Sustainable Energy Outreach Network, SEON, which will be mine, and introduction to the overall program, then we will transition to a pre-recorded 7-minute section of each home.
Oh, neat.
So, you know, sometimes asking contractors to spontaneously deliver a program, that's not a wise thing.
They're not
So-
actors, they're contractors.
So most of them probably will be PowerPoint presentations with a voiceover. And then we've also submitted each of these 4 projects to a videographer, Tim Wessel down in Brattleboro, Vermont Films. And he's helping us do some of the finer detail. Following that, we'll have about a 2.5-minute overview or presentation of the different advertisers and sponsors of our event. Then there will be opportunities for a question and answer from the builder, and that will be live. Then we'll transition to the next house and the next project. What people have an opportunity to do is they can go to our website and they can get an overview of the 4 homes that are being presented. So you get a description of why the owner went this route, some of the technical details. And really, this program is primarily for the homeowners, so that they become aware of the options when they come to a point of what are the decisions that they need to make. Secondarily, certainly it goes to the builders and designers and architects, so they see what is going on around the state. We have two homes one new home in Putney, an addition in Putney, which is unique. It's part of an artistic community, and the owner of that area wanted to have his own space and then rent out and use his other previous home for local artists who want to stay for a week or so.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and another new home up in Norwich. So now, given the virtual, we're able to move to the Upper Valley, as well as over to Manchester, Vermont, or Dorset, actually, where the deep energy retrofit is. And that will be the new home of the actual architect, be their new home and business.
Wow. So this virtual tour has actually allowed you to sort of expand your area, because before it was pretty much a driving, walking tour
Correct.
of the Putney area, basically.
Yeah. So now we're able to, so with this, we can expand. People throughout the state and the region can begin seeing, what do we mean by a high performance home?
Yeah.
And, and basically how can we begin holding people accountable to the work that they are doing?
Neat. Because I would also see the other advantages when you do the pre-recorded piece, you can really put in a lot of information that wouldn't probably have come out if people were just randomly walking in and asking a question or looking at something.
Yeah, it's when we did the walk-in, if people came within 5 minutes of one another, it was really tough to be part of that conversation. Mm-hmm. So now everyone has the opportunity to get the same amount of information. This will be recorded as well, and it will be Zoom.
Oh, okay. That's it. That was my next question, actually.
Yeah, it will be an actual webinar. So that allows us to efficiently work through a lot of the technical areas, and we'll have someone monitoring the chat room, so those questions can be asked.
Wow.
So interestingly enough, COVID has brought on a lot of challenges for people, but interestingly enough, a lot of people have risen to the challenge and created something, and it sounds like in this case, that actually is much better and probably is going to garner maybe more audience because it's easier.
Yeah.
You get a more, you can get a bigger reach. You can go to I know personally, the likelihood that I would go to the actual tour and go to the different houses, slim to none. but hopping on a Zoom to get some information, because it's kind of a condensed version of information.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's information, you're getting all the information you want to get out because you're shooting it, filming it, so you can make sure that you get out there what you want as opposed to off the cuff. I find it more intriguing. It's like I find it's appealing, and I probably wouldn't have been your audience prior to that. So I think that's great. You guys sounds like you've done a lot of work.
It was a whole new ballgame, but that's the way it's been, I think, for everybody.
Yeah.
One of sort of the key areas that we've had to do outside of the home tour is now how do we deliver the kind of training that we've done to the builders. So now going to an online format has been challenging because the people that we've relied on, they are busy.
Yeah.
The contractors now are just locked into Lord knows when. So it's been challenging for us on a number of different levels. But this one, as you had said, Marty, really allows us to expand our offerings to not just Vermont, but the Northeast. I mean, these homes are really targeted for the Northeast because of what are the issues around building science and high performance. But many of the concepts still apply. But this applies to northern New England or any aspect of New England, as well as out west, the northern regions, the Dakotas, Minnesota, and the Northwest. So, and we're advertising on all those regions.
Yes.
Which is really pretty cool.
Guy, we have about 3 minutes left. Can you take that time to once give us all the information again about who, what, when, where, and how?
Sure.
And then give us your last thoughts.
Okay. WHO is the SEON, is the Sustainable Energy Outreach Network. This is a virtual home tour of 4 projects, 2 new, 1 addition, and 1 deep energy retrofit. It has all been done by this region's high performance builders who continue to innovate and to be up to their level of what are the best practices. It will be November 7th. It will be on Zoom. You can go to our website, sion.info/home tour. They can contact me directly through our website, and it will be you registered through Eventbrite.
Okay.
You can either do it for free, or there's an opportunity to donate. Certainly we would appreciate the donation because this was a whole new venture for us. But we wanted to make sure that people can do this for free.
Great. Marty, last time?
I think it's great. I think so. Saturday, November 7th, block off that
Saturday,
time.
November 7th.
Yep.
And I just have to give a plug for one thing because I think this is fascinating. On the deep energy retrofit, the designer who's the general contractor, when they went down and opened up the wall cavity, what they found was a scythe blade, shoes, bottles, a Bible.
Wow.
And all that is all part of a superstition back in the 1800s about how to keep witches and goblins and ghosts out of homes.
That's
Since
great.
then, I've asked a number of folks who have been doing some work, and they said, "Oh, we found shoes, and we found scythe blades."
That's great.
So Marty, when you go into your wall cavity, we want to know what you find.
I don't think I'll find my houses slightly earlier, but you know.
She might be
never
putting
know.
those
I
things
might be
in
putting
the wall.
those things moving forward. I'm pretty superstitious, so now I know how to protect.
Now we know what to find, so
Yeah.
we can put those in the wall.
Yeah, so there are 3 other people who have told me, "Oh my God, I found those too."
Well,
That's
Guy,
wild.
thank you again for coming on. It's always great to have you on. You're so good. And
My pleasure.
Everyone,
Yep.
see
Make
you in
sure-
October.
And I hope to see you.
Yes, good. Take it easy. All right.
Okay.